What's going on, guys? How we doing? Today, we're going to hop right into a review over two different futures funding firms, the Tradeify platform and the MyFundedFutures platform. We're going to compare and contrast the two different styles and just talk about them in general, guys. So without wasting too much time, we're going to hop right into it. And for those not familiar with these firms, guys, essentially how it works is you typically pay a fee, sometimes a one-time fee, sometimes a subscription-based fee. And then from there, you typically will take some type of evaluation to then get funded where you then can take real profits, guys. So in the Tradify platform, guys, they do something very, very unique where they do something called straight to funded. Essentially, you don't have to take any type of evaluation, guys. And so from here, all you have to do is pay the one-time fee and then get that funded account going right away. So here are the three different accounts, guys, the 50K, the 100K, and the 150K across the board here, as you guys can see. And so they all pretty much have the same type of rules, guys. The only thing that's different here are the targets, the drawdown, and then the amount of contracts you can trade, guys. So personally, I use the 50K and the 150K. So I'll be talking about the 150K in particular here, guys. So it's a one-time fee right here, guys, but I will drop a discount code on the screen somewhere and also in the bio where you guys can get 40% off of that, guys. And then from here, you have a $7,500 max drawdown and a $3,750 soft limit, which is basically meaning intraday you can only lose $3,750. That's your max daily drawdown, where basically 2 max days in a row your account will be closed. From there, in order to take a payout, it's very simple. You need 10 total trading days, 5 days of over $100 profit, and a 20% consistency rule. And then in order to actually achieve that payout, you have to hit $7,500 in profit, which is pretty standard. That's basically the same drawdown as is profit target. And you can see across the 3 different accounts as well, it's a $5,000 target, $5,000 drawdown for 100K, and $2,500 and $2,500 roughly for the 50K, guys. You guys can see the different fees there on the screen. And you can also see that, or you can't see yet, but across the board here, you get a 40% discount, so that fee will be less, guys. So hopping now into MyFundedFutures, guys, they just dropped a new plan called the Milestone plan. Similarly, they do have 3 different accounts, the same 350K, 100K, 150K. And the format here is something that's pretty different, right? It's not quite a straight to funded path, and it's also not an evaluation path. So it's somewhat of a mini hybrid that's very interesting. So we can talk about this, guys, right? We can hop right into this next slide here. So we can kind of see the full layout right here, the full layout of the milestone, guys. And so I'm going to talk about the 150K here, right? So essentially there's different phase targets. So there's 4 different phase targets you have to hit, and the target for these is 9K each. So the target themselves is a little bit more than the 150K on Tradify, and I guess the biggest downfall here is that your drawdown is only 4,500, where on Tradify it's actually 7,500. But I guess the plus in this scenario is that on each of these phases, once you pass, you get an immediate payout. So essentially you can earn up to potentially 12K in payouts until they move you to live. So that sounds great, but it is a little bit harder to hit these targets, on the 150K. And again, because there is a little bit more leverage involved when it comes to larger accounts, you have to hit a higher target for not really as much of a payout, right? So if you see on the 50K account, for instance, the phase 1 through 4 targets are $3,000, and when they pay you out, it's $2,000, right? So on the higher accounts, yes, you get paid out more, but it is 3 times as difficult to get that payout, and you're only getting about a 50% increase in the actual payout itself. And then after that, guys, they move you to live, right? Some of the differences right off the bat, guys, the max position size on the 150K is 9 mini contracts, where if you could see here on the 150K for Tradify, you're allowed up to 15 minis. And then that's not too big of a difference because truthfully, guys, we don't see many times where we, even go 9 or 15 contracts. The biggest thing here is that on the 150K for the milestone plan for MyFundedFutures, you can only have 27 micros. So it's a 3 times the amount of minis. Where what I personally prefer, because I like to use micros, you can have 10 times the amount of micros as minis here on Tradify. So on Tradify, you can have up to 150 micros, right? So both of these plans are very unique. They're very different at times, but there are also some similarities, right? So some of the similarities are the daily drawdowns, both being end of day, drawdowns, meaning any of the profit that you make intraday gets built into the drawdown. Unlike Apex, for example, if those are familiar with that, which has a trailing drawdown, which nobody likes. On top of that, they both have the same consistency rule, meaning your max day can only be 20% of your total profit. Both of these aren't really issues for me personally, and pretty standard across the board, So in comparing both of these firms, they both offer kind of unique values, but you can kind of pick for yourselves what you like. Personally, guys, I've been going with the straight to funded, over my funded futures in the past, Top Step and Apex. I just like the fact that, guys, that you only have to pay a one-time fee here, and that one-time fee across the board on Tradify is cheaper with that 40% discount. You can see right here, guys, that with the 10% discount they're offering here, the 150K account comes down to about $600, where with a 40% discount off the sticker price here, it comes to about $420. Even if we're using the 50K account, it comes about to $320, $330 with that 40% off, where here it comes to $400. You can see there is definitely a difference in price as well. It's just kind of up to you how you want to approach it, right? I personally like the fact that after 6 payouts, I can get moved live on on Tradify, where MyFunded Futures, there are more steps to it, right? It is a little bit more expensive. There are more steps to it. In theory, you can get paid as much or the same, right? But for me, I like things that are just kind of more straightforward. I like to say, hey, I'm going to open an account. As long as I trade this many trading days, as long as I have this much profit, I will get paid out. I don't know 100% for MyFunded Futures, but I do know for Tradify, there's an automated payout system. So people are getting paid as quickly as 5-10 minutes, most people under 1 hour. And that's not necessarily getting approved. That's from sending their approval request to actually getting the request passed and then actually getting paid through the Rise platform, guys. So that for me is really something that I love and I can stand behind. Right? Lastly, here, just a little quick graph, guys, just kind of showing you guys up front. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this or save this for later, guys, this just shows some easy comparisons, right? With MyFunded Futures, you can only have up to 3 accounts. With Tradify, you can have 7. So that leverage right there alone is pretty significant. The cost itself, guys, about $600 after the discount for the MyFunded Futures, $420 after the discount for Tradify. The max drawdown, which in my opinion is actually probably the biggest factor here, you have $4,500 of drawdown on MyFunded Futures, $7,500 on Tradify. So in theory, your daily loss limit on Tradify is $3,750. Your daily loss limit is almost as much as your total drawdown on MyFunded Futures. So, maybe if MyFunded Futures in the future raises that could be definitely a good drawing point. The max amount of minis you can have here in MyFunded Futures is 9, as we mentioned. Tradify is 15, and the max micros also. That's a big difference. The minis, not a huge difference for me personally. I'm never really trading 9, 10, 15 plus minis, but the micros is a big difference. Basically, here you can't even have the equivalent to 3 minis worth of micros, where on Tradify you can have 15. And then the drawdown and the consistency rules, they're both the same, guys. End of day drawdown for both and the 20% consistency rule for both, guys. So in the comments down below, guys, I will drop the links and for you guys to be able to purchase these accounts, on MyFunded Futures and Tradify, and I'll drop the code, as I mentioned, on the screen and also in the description for you guys to get a discount. So hopefully, guys, this gave you guys some clarity as to, the differences between these accounts, and hopefully you guys can make the decision for yourselves. I can only share what I personally am using, and that is right now the Tradeify platform, guys. So hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.